Hey guys, welcome to the Kult Podcast, number 8, episode number 8. Today we have like a not some kind of someone different on. Usually on podcast we have like producers, from dubstep and EDM, and today we have like a kind of a singer. Her name is Heddie, previously known as SynthPrisma, which is kind of again a vocalist and you've actually been producing for for a long time, like since like 2011, right?
Yeah, so I mean it's kind of a weird story. I mostly started singing in 2009. So that was the first time that I actually started recording music for other people. So it was in 2009. And then when I kind of started to, dip my fingers into producing was, I would say, more so around 2013. So singing since 2009, producing since 2013.
Well, cool. I mean, I actually started producing around that 2013 too. Crazy.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's
good. And I guess you've been also doing like you've been doing like a lot of covers, right? Like I guess in the early days, right?
Yeah, so that's pretty much how I started out, was just doing cover songs from other artists that I really liked. I think the first cover song that I did was from the Japanese producer. It was from the group called Capsule, but the producer's name was Yasutaka Nakata. And it was a cover from one of their songs.
Yeah, I was actually like looking into your YouTube, and you kind of like had like a viral video on there, like with all.
Oh yeah, that was a cover I did of a song by Studio Killers, and that was kind of a fun thing that I used to do, and I still kind of do every now and then. So I'll take a song that I like, and as opposed to just doing a cover of that song, I would do kind of like a reimagining of the song from a different perspective. So for that Studio Killer song, it's the song is called Jenny, and it's about this girl named Jenny. And so what I did was I just took the song and I did it from Jenny's perspective. So I just I've kind of flipped it around a little bit. So instead of singing it like the original way, where the song is about Jenny, I sang it as if it was Jenny actually singing the song. So I completely changed the lyrics up, and people seem to really like it. The Studio Killers really liked it, and it kind of blew up. I think right now it has over 300,000 views.
Damn.
So that's definitely my most popular cover.
Cool. Like, do you have any do you have any like solid idea how how that went viral, or was it not something like you expected?
No, it wasn't anything I expected at all. I just think because it was different, like it was just a reimagining of the song that people were kind of like, oh, okay, this is cool, this is different. It's not the actual cover of the song, but it's like it's the song but from a different perspective. And I think their fan base thought that was a cool idea. So that's why it just kind of popped off, I guess.
Yeah.
But wasn't expecting that at all. Still to this day, I'm like, to me personally, I didn't even think it was very good. It's not mixed. It's not mixed very well. I feel like it sounds very grainy because I didn't really know what I was doing in terms of, EQing and compression. I think it sounds like completely overly compressed, but people seem to really like that cover. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of an accomplishment anyways. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And also, yeah, I mean, I also look into your, like, I just want to say, like, I really like the simple and clean. I mean, you did like a simple and clean cover, right?
Yeah.
But when I saw your, like, the simple and clean cover on your SoundCloud, I was like, oh shit, you really remixed it, or, like, did a cover on this site, and kind of an instant click for me, and I was kind of blown away with with the cover, your vocals. I guess what drove you to, like, do that?
I mean, with my SoundCloud, I probably need to make another one, just because it's been such. I started that SoundCloud, I think, in maybe 2011, 2010. So it's really old, and it was kind of just a place I wanted where I could put all the cover songs that I was doing and all of the little songs that I was kind of making up in my head. I wanted a space where I could put those. Hard to believe, but I at one point I had been putting them all on MySpace, because I said this was like maybe 2009, 2010. So MySpace was kind of still a thing back then.
Yeah.
But then once, MySpace went under, I was trying to figure out a place to put all of these little cover songs and little songs I was doing. So I was putting them on SoundCloud, and it's really just kind of a mishmash of different songs that I like. I've always really loved Utada's music. So Simple and Clean. I've done a cover of Passion, Sanctuary. So there wasn't really a rhyme or reason why I did that cover. It was just a song that I really loved. And I don't know, one day I was just like, oh, I'll do a cover of Simple and Clean. And I like, I really like doing the English version, but also the Japanese version of songs. So what I'll typically do is I'll do one part of the song in English, and I'll do the chorus in Japanese, or I'll do the verse in Japanese and the chorus in English. So I'd like to kind of mishmash the two together.
I assume you started out, making covers, right?
Yes.
I guess then at some point you started making or original songs. Was there like what made you, like, decide to go for or original songs?
Well, I think after a while, I mean, I still love doing cover songs. That was always just kind of a way for me to get practice in singing and using my voice. But I think after a while, I started feeling like I wanted to sing other things. And that's what made me kind of want to try my hand at producing. And I will say this to this day, I'm not a good producer at all by any means. I've always been very, like, amateur level when it comes to music production, which is why I've always felt more comfortable just kind of lending my voice to other people who know what they're doing. So I'm by no means a great producer at all, but
actually, no,
I definitely.
I'm gonna have to, like, object to that. I mean, there's, like, Blue Thunder. I guess I'm like really just got hooked onto that, like, really the great vocals, and kind of you work on with the reverb too, and, like, I mean, yeah, but.
Well, thank you, appreciate it. But I stand by it. Like, there's so much to learn, and producing it's a lot more than people really, it's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot of elements. There's a lot of elements to a song.
Yeah, there's also, I mean, yeah, there's also, more room for improvement, but, I mean, where you're at, I mean, that's pretty, good, decent, I mean, or good.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I guess since we're dwelling into the topic of vocals, I mean, I've always wondered if you ever used autotune.
Yeah, so for specific songs, I've used Melodyne.
Yeah.
I've used Autotune. Usually when I'm recording vocals and I'm mixing them, I'll use Isotope Nectar. That's one of my favorite VST to use for vocals, and it does, it's not the same as Autotune, but they do have, pitch correcting. It's not nearly as good, but it does kind of help to pitch certain vocals and make sure that it sounds as clean as possible. That was always very important to me. I mean, even back in 2009, 2010, when I just started out, I was like, I did not want the songs that I put out there to sound raw, to sound completely raw. I have no problem with raw vocals, but I just feel like it sounds more professional and people are more likely to take you seriously as an artist if you have the reverb, you have some EQing done. Like if it's not just completely raw, there has to be some type of correction to the vocals in order for it to sound professional. So
yeah, I mean I've used Melodyne before, and it's actually kind of a great tool. I guess there is for me personally, I think there's like a limit. It's kind of too much autotune on some songs, but I get there. Kind of some hip hop songs do.
There's definitely
yeah.
a comfort level with pitch correction. You don't want to set it too high because then it sounds completely unnatural, and it doesn't always sound all that great depending on the song. But then there's other songs where it needs to be pitch corrected to that level so that it doesn't sound natural, that it sounds more almost robotic. And I've done cover songs, like I said, for Capsule. Yasutaka Nakata uses a lot of pitch correction for vocals with Capsule, with Perfume, and with those groups. So even though I don't use as much autotune when I'm doing those types of cover songs, there's definitely a heavy amount of pitch correction. So I'm like, I have to use at least a little bit so that it sounds kind of similar to the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do notice like that you use reverb too. I also wanted to ask how how often do you think would you recommend vocalists / producers to put reverb on their vocal stems?
Me personally, I love reverb. I'm not the type, I'm not the one to probably ask this question for people who like a very clean, raw sound. I like my vocals to have a lot of delay, to have a lot of reverb. Me personally, that's just my preference. It's it's not 100% necessary, but depending on the song and the sound that you're going for, I do think that it is it definitely makes the song have more atmosphere.
Yeah, it does kind of put a lot of reverb, and it kind of fills up the space. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I also want to talk about because I think I listened to it, and you have great for songs like Blue Thunder. You get wonderful lyrics and stuff. And I was just wondering if you get creators, or do you get writer's block for your production process?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As for some reason right now I'm it's really been an issue. And I think probably just because, like I said, I've been working. At one point, I was working 2 jobs, so that was taking up a lot of time and getting pretty stressful at one point. So that was creating a lot of writer's block and making it really difficult for me to just kind of sit down and have a cohesive songwriting session. But yeah, to kind of alleviate that, I just try to, like, on my day off from work, I'll just try to sit down and focus on that and just say, okay, I need to write, 3 songs. So I will try to make that my priority for that day that I'm off, and just try to do that every time that I'm off work, is just kind of sit down and have a session and just focus on that, as opposed to getting off work at 5, 6 o'clock, trying to eat dinner, trying to wind down and then work on music. But I know that I have to get up super early in the morning, and it's a lot.
I mean, so I'm like inferring like you, so I guess it's like you're working more on music contributes to like getting rid of like writer's block, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what been, I guess what's been happening with kind of producers, like, and I think it's really, well, I mean, yeah, like producers from the Fire Society was kind of like I guess it's kind of like a community for with who learn from other producers how to produce and stuff, and yeah, I mean that's kind of like that's kind of a great like cost for that's the cost for writer's block, and yeah, I mean, kind of produce more, make more, and yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. I guess when you did like get writer's block, was it more with writing lyrics or producing the instrument like melodies?
I would definitely say both. It's when you're producing a song, you can definitely get writer's block in terms of the progression of the song. So, in my particular case, I might come up with a really good chord progression, and then not really be able to figure out how to progress the song from there. I definitely feel like that, for me personally, is more challenging than the songwriting aspect, because if I already have a pretty, like, a solid melody, I can build a song around that. Whereas if I don't have an idea in my head already set for producing a melody, that can take a lot longer.
Yeah. Sure.
So that's pretty much why I prefer to kind of work with other people that have more experience in producing songs, and then just kind of lending them my voice, because I'm able to, if somebody has a full song already recorded, I can just listen to it, and the feeling of the song, or even I don't know, the way my brain works, it's weird.
Yeah,
even just like
weird.
The title of the song can give me an idea for like a whole story that I want the song to be about. So, like, for instance, several years ago, I worked with the producer Von Herzog, who's also a really good friend of mine. And he had sent me a song that he had worked on, just the instrumental, and the file name for that instrumental was called Golden. So I listened to the song, and the file name just kind of stuck out to me, and I was like, okay, liked that name, Golden, and I just built the song around that word. So I had the chorus, the verse, and the whole song just structured around seeing that word. And that helped me to kind of build that song. So I don't know, my brain is weird.
That's
kind of how it works.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, well, I guess so. Like titles, song titles give you like, is it just like the song titles that give you ideas, or is it just like also combined with the melodies, like help you construct the ideas?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a combination of the two. So I'll listen to the melody, and the melody will give me a feeling of the song. So if the song kind of sounds more upbeat, and then depending on what the file name is, that can kind of give me a direction of where I want to go with it. As opposed to like if it's a little bit slower, if the BPM is a little bit slower, that can give me an idea of how I want to structure the song and how I want the lyrics to go. There's really, I wish there was a rhyme or reason for how my brain works when it comes to songwriting, but it's really not. I literally just will listen to a melody and my mind will go, this is what the song can be about. And I'll just build it around that melody. It's probably definitely has a little bit to do with me having ADHD. I think that's a manifestation of my ADHD. How my brain works.
That actually kind of sounds like a good pointer for producers. Like, what would you recommend producers? Like, should producers like provide like a theme, and if they want to like a theme for the track, to if they want to collab on with you?
Well, I think if they wanted to do like a joint thing, a collaboration, with me personally, it definitely helps for me if the song has space for vocals. I feel like with a lot of productions that I'll get, for people that will send to me, they'll be really great. Like they'll be perfect, but there won't be a lot of space in order for me to kind of hear the song and have a specific flow of where the lyrics will go. So it's always a good idea if you want to work with a vocalist, to just make sure that, that your instrumental isn't too busy, that it doesn't have too much going on, that the vocalist can't listen to the song and say, okay, this is where the first verse can go. This is where the chorus can go. This is where a bridge can go. It has to have that space in the song for lyrics to be able to flow. If you want that type of a structure, not all songs have to be the same. They don't all have to be structured the same way with a verse and a chorus. Honestly, you could just do a song and just use a chorus. It doesn't have to have like a whole storyline going. But if that's what you want for your song, it's just always a good idea to make sure that the instrumental has space in the song for vocals to sit.
Sure.
That's my best advice.
So basically, I guess no metal songs. I'm just playing, but I guess just leave some space for for producers out there. Just leave some space, for the vocalists. If you want to collab with vocalists.
Yeah. I mean, a good rule of thumb to remember when making a song that you intend to have vocals is to just think of the vocals as another instrument. Think of the vocals as an instrument in the song as well. as opposed to a separate entity of the song. So you want them to add to the song in a way that, you can incorporate it so that it flows, so that it goes with the melody, so that it goes with the chord progression. You just want it all to kind of flow together. And, vocals are an instrument in that sense. So it's always a good idea to kind of picture that in your mind when you're producing a song. Just make sure that it can all go together and flow.
I think would you also recommend because I guess one thing I did do, I do have a few songs that I would have liked vocals on. But I do have like a lead, I guess a lead there, kind of a replacement lead. Like, would you recommend producers make their own vocal lead, I guess, or do you usually work more like offer your your idea for I guess for the vocal melody?
Well, I mean, it kind of depends. When I initially first started out singing, the producer that I first started singing with, his name's Lane Troska, and he goes by She Music. So when he would send me an instrumental, he would always kind of have the lead there, and the lead is what I would use as my kind of like my vocal what's the word? It would give me like an idea of how the vocals should go. So he would send me a MIDI of the lead, and that's what I would sing to. So that really helped me in the beginning when I was first starting out, because I wasn't really sure. I didn't have the knowledge or the practice of how a vocal melody should go. So he would always put that lead in the song, and then I would sing the lyrics, and he'd give me the lyrics too. He was just like, I like your voice, and here's everything that you need, basically. So just, here's the words, here's the lead, and just sing it. And I would sing it. And that's basically how it worked. So if it's a vocalist that's a little bit newer and they're not really experienced in making vocal melodies, having a lead can definitely help and give them a direction in how they should sing the song. But if they have a little bit more experience and they have a little bit more knowledge on how to make a good vocal lead for a song, it may not be necessary. They may not need that. So it's just kind of something that you both have to go over. You can always throw it out there like, hey, I have this lead in the song. I can leave it in. You can hear it. If you like the way it sounds, you can sing it, to the melody of this lead, or we can take the lead out and you can do your own thing.
Good advice. Yeah.
That's always been helpful for me, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I guess there's like kind of also a way you can also help other vocalists too, by sending by a producer sending stuff. I mean, that's kind of
really. It's very helpful.
Yeah,
it's definitely very helpful.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, I guess we're going to a less serious topic. I actually looked through a cover of, or not really a cover, like it was like an original song you made, and it was back in 2016. It was kind of some really funny lyrics and stuff. And it was like something about like gonna get that booty or something. Yeah.
Was it on my SoundCloud?
Well, no, it was actually a clip on Twitter. That was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like I guess like what was your inspiration like behind it, or was it just something some lyrics that came out of the blue, or what was it?
Well, with with my Twitter, I mean, this is the Twitter that I have now that I've kind of been using the most often. I made, I think, in 2013. And initially, I just kind of started it as a place where, kind of like with my SoundCloud, I just wanted a place where I could put the little things that I would have going on in my head and just have a place where I could put them online, just so they weren't just sitting on my computer. Because at one point, that's basically all I was doing was I would record songs and they would just be on my computer and I wouldn't do anything with them. And Twitter has always been a place, like an outlet for me to put all of the little going ons of my mind someplace. And there's definitely a lot of little things, like little videos on my Twitter that were just 4 a.m. random things that I was just making in the middle of the night, and I would just upload it, just for the heck of it.
Yeah, great place to sing about booties and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually kind of downloaded the clip and actually did a remix on it. I mean, not a professional remix. I just like added some my synths on it, like
really.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think I still have it, but I think it's on my archive mix from 2017, like a 1-minute clip on there. But,
okay. Well, you definitely have to show me that because I'm intrigued.
Actually, I'll try to send it. Actually,
yeah, that's really interesting. I always forget that I have those little things on my Twitter, and if you dig deep enough into like 2013 through 2017, you'll find some pretty questionable music choices and song ideas.
Do you still do clips, like upload, like do this sort of small clip uploading these days, or?
So I haven't in a while. Honestly, it's been a long time. When I was able to do that, that was on an older computer that I had, where I had OBS, where you can screen record. Actually, I think that was on a laptop that I had been using, and I had just recently built a computer and got a lot of my stuff from my old computer onto the new computer that I built. So I've been thinking that I definitely want to start doing that again. The closest that I've gotten to that is just I've been uploading videos from I've been making little songs from different genres and uploading that. But in terms of where I would screen record, like little productions that I've made, I haven't done that in a long time, but I do want to start doing that again because it was a lot of fun, and it helped me a lot to, it helped me with producing.
Yeah. Small song ideas kind of do lead to other things, like other bigger things,
exactly.
bigger, all these kinds of take things from other bits, kind of.
I love it when people do little remixes of stuff that I've done. It's always really, really fun to listen to and really cool to see.
Yeah. Have you had any remixes, like, or if so, like how many remixes of your songs?
Not many, but I have had a few, and typically it'll just be I'll get a message on Twitter or I'll get a message on SoundCloud, and it'll just be somebody like, hey, I really like this song you did. I made a remix and I put it on my SoundCloud. Like it's not usually people that are anything that they plan on releasing, but they'll just send it to me just like, hey, I heard the song that you did and I really liked it, and I put my own spin on it, which I love. Like I said, it's always very, very cool to me that somebody will hear something that I did and do a remix to it, even if they're just sending it for me to hear. I really appreciate it.
Sure. I think for the past year, I think you did some synthwave, some synthwave inspiration, or what drove you to like synthwave music, or have you always been into it?
Well, I mean, if you go on my SoundCloud or my YouTube, my taste in music is definitely very it's all over the place, honestly. I listen to so many different genres of music, and I feel like I'm at the point in my music career, since I'm not signed to a label or anything, so I really have the freedom to kind of sing whatever I want and to go in any direction that feels right at that time. And synthwave, I would say I started listening to synthwave music a few years ago. I would say maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. The first synthwave artist that I really started listening to was, like I said, the producer that I had been working with, Von Herzog. I started listening to The Midnight and was completely blown away by their music. I would also say another really big inspiration is the artist, producer, Essinger. His songs have always been like so inspiring. But yeah, I mean, I love synthwave music. I love that kind of retro 80s sound. I love the song structure of synthwave music. I love a lot of the instruments that they use, and so I feel like more recently it's definitely been something that I've been doing a lot more often. But my taste in music is all over the place, though, honestly. I love house music. I love rock. I love, R&B. It's honestly, it's all over the place.
I think you also posted like something like asking for, kind of, I guess, asking for dark synth, like dark synth too. And like it was posted about like dark synth. I was like,
yeah. So, I mean, once I started listening to synthwave music, that kind of, threw me down the rabbit hole of all the subgenres of synthwave music. So dark wave, punk wave, like really heavy bass, bass heavy synthwave music. I love. So I listen to a lot of Dead Life. He's a really great producer from the UK that makes a kind of like cyberpunk style of synthwave music. And I feel like for me personally, my voice really fits with that style of music. So that's kind of something that I always gravitate towards, is more of like a cyberwave, dark wave style of synthwave music.
Do you plan on continuing with the singing on dark or synthwave music?
Yeah, so definitely for the foreseeable future, that's where I definitely see myself being the most, I would say the most comfortable. I'm working on an album right now, and it's definitely going to have a lot of it has some kind of cyber, it's a little bit of mixture of everything that I like. It has some cyberwave, it has some I would say there's some house music influences in it, because I really love dance music, but the theme of it is definitely very, very dark, bass heavy, electronic music.
So I see you have like a piano cover, which is called it was called Lost in the Dance, and that was like, and because it has piano in, and did you play the piano, program it, or sampled, or what's?
So the Lost in This Dance cover is that one was actually just an instrumental. So that one is a cover song from Lena Katina, which she was one of the singers from the Russian group Tattoo. So that's another like really big influence for me. I've always loved Tattoo since since I was a teenager. And so that one was an instrumental that I found of that song. And I really loved it. And I was just, back in the day, I wanted to make a cover of that song. So I just kind of, I think I found the instrumental of it and then just recorded the vocals and just kind of mixed and mastered my vocals over it.
Yeah, really good piece, by the way.
Thank you. I've wanted to redo that cover since it's been so long since I did it, and I feel like I have a better understanding of mixing vocals now. So I feel like I could make it sound a little bit more clean.
Yeah. I think it's good. I mean, it's good to kind of like revisit old songs. I mean, and kind of do like a VIP, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is going to be a single that I'll be coming out with pretty soon. I haven't quite picked a date for it yet, so I'm just trying to finalize everything for it and make sure I have all the promotional aspect for it ready to go. But the song is called Fade Into You, and it's like a collaboration between me and another producer that I've worked with before in the past by the name of Zona. We worked on a song called Always together, and I really liked the feeling of that song, so I kind of wanted to incorporate that, but a little bit more. It's definitely more, not quite cyberwave. It's definitely more kind of a little bit EDM, but it does have some cyberwave elements to it. Lots of glitches, lots of vocal distortions. But it's called Fade Into You, and it will be coming out soon. I'm very excited. I haven't released a single in a while, so I'm a little nervous as well because I'm just not sure, how it'll be received. But I'm excited, and I can't wait, honestly, to start getting more original stuff out there. So
yeah, I really think this is gonna be like a good release. I can already tell. I mean, I'll leave it down. I'll leave a link down in the description, guys. If if this, I mean, depending if this comes out soon or I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I would say, let's see, it's the end of January. I'm gonna say by February, at least by the end of February, I'll have it out and released. So I'll be putting all that on my Twitter, on my Instagram. I'll upload it to my YouTube channel. So like it will be definitely properly promoted.
Yeah, I'll leave her socials down in the description so you guys can get hyped for her and you listen to her synthwave singing and stuff.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Appreciate the love.
Aside from music, I also noticed you've been like past month you kind of got a VR helmet, right?
Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
Oculus Quest too,
Yeah.
and I am obsessed.
hmm Same with me. Like I got a it's kind of like it's an Oculus Rift S. So,
Oh, okay, cool.
but yeah, I mean that's kind of. I think you kind of agreed with me that virtual reality. I guess virtual reality is kind of underrated, right? Or
It is, but I definitely feel like in the coming months, even maybe not even the coming years, it's going to become a lot more popular. I know when I was initially trying to find an Oculus Quest 2, it was sold out everywhere for
yeah,
weeks. I couldn't find it anywhere.
yes,
So it's definitely getting more popular, and more people are you know becoming interested in VR. It's a really cool experience, and I feel like with the Oculus Quest 2, it definitely makes VR more affordable for people interested in trying it that aren't necessarily, that aren't sure they want to spend the type of money that, like if, by going with an index, something like that.
yeah. I mean, yeah, Quest 2 is kind of is like kind of the go-to for the. It's kind of actually, I believe it's more popular the Quest 2 than the Rift S, right? Or do you think differently?
Yeah, I actually think that the Quest 2 um it's become more popular than the Rift S at this point, just because it's with everything that they've incorporated into the Quest 2, with it being basically a standalone headset. It's not attached to any wires or anything, and um, the design of the controllers, and I mean the headset isn't super comfortable, but I've heard that if you get the head strap, that makes it
Hmm.
a lot better. And I've been trying to find the headset at my my local Walmart and Target, and they're always sold out, so I'll probably just have to get it online, but
Hmm.
I've heard really good things about it.
And I guess like what games have you gone so far?
So I've just recently purchased a game called Super Hot, which has been really, really
Mhm.
fun. And that game's it's honestly kind of hard to explain. I'm gonna try to explain what Super Hot is. It's like a POV version, or like a POV game, and there's like these figures that are made out of, it looks like they could be made out of crystal or glass, and you punch them, you shoot them, you can throw things at them, and
Yeah.
and they break. And it's kind of like everything's done in slow mo unless you move. Like when you move, they speed up, but they're all kind of like coming at you in a slow motion way, and you have to basically destroy them, like break them or whatever, before they touch you, or else you have to start the level over again. It's pretty intense. It's more intense than you would think it would be, and it's a lot harder than you would think it would be. I'm stuck on this one level that it's been taking me like a week
Yeah.
to get past it. But I mean, other than that, I've also played um this game called Zombie, and it's like a zombie game. It's very similar to kind of like The Walking Dead. You're shooting and throwing grenades at zombies, and but definitely by far the one game I've been playing the most is definitely VR chat, and
Yeah.
that was kind of the VR chat is what made me want to get a headset, just because I had been playing it initially on my desktop, and I was having a lot of fun just playing it on the desktop alone. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to go ahead and get a VR headset so that I can be more immersed into the different worlds that you can go to in the game. And it was like so mind blowing for me the first time I tried it.
Yeah. And Do you usually go on like servers to meet people, or hop in with your friends? Or...
Yeah, so I would say the most recently I kind of joined a group of people that will go to different worlds and stuff, and they've been like a group that I've been hanging out with. But initially, and for the longest, when I would hop in to the worlds, I would just go in there and just talk to different people and just really explore on my own. But yeah, I've made a lot of friends through the game, and that definitely is a really fun element to it, is especially with everything being kind of crazy right now because of the coronavirus, and we're not able to get out there and meet people. It's been a fun way to it's like it's like an interactive chat room essentially.
That's kind of the reason for like the shortage of VR helmets, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like VR chat is definitely what's getting a lot of people into getting into VR, because we miss being able to go out and hang out with friends and go places, and yeah, that's definitely one element to the game that every time I'm on there and I'm meeting up with people and we're in some like last night I was in a world with a group of friends, and it was this like gorgeous penthouse, up in the mountains, and you can like see the city down below, and there's like a garden on the roof, and it's just, I'm just like, oh, I miss things like this in real life. But it's it's a nice little substitute, I guess, for that. And especially with the Oculus, you have a virtual desktop, and with virtual desktop you can change the screen, so you can have it so that you're sitting in a movie theater. And I thought that was so cool. I haven't been to the movie since February of last year, so it's like, oh, it's so cool to just feel like I'm sitting in a movie theater.
I think there's also an app for that, the big screen app.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I just recently kind of made a group of friends, but for the most part, I was just, for lack of a better word, like being a tourist, just going to these worlds, and it really kind of feels like that. Yeah, it really feels like that. Like back during New Year's Eve, they had made this world that looked very similar to Times Square for New Year's, and I went there, and it was just like, it was amazing, honestly. It really just felt like you're standing in the middle of Times Square. So I was just like taking pictures of the world. I'm like, wow, I really feel like a tourist right now. But yeah, I will definitely, I'll add you on there, and I have a bunch of worlds that I favorited that are really cool, and that I'm like, that I love to show people. So
virtual tourism is cool.
I drove to Long Beach. I think it was in Long Beach or Laguna, somewhere. It was somewhere in the OC in California. So I drove up there. I met up with the girl. She was like, yeah, here's the ticket. She tried to throw it to me over the fence and just told me to like give her the money for it. And I was like, I took the ticket. I was like, I'm going to wait till I get inside. In order to pay you first. Like, I was like, I'll pay you when I get in. Like, it'll be better to do it that way. So I get the ticket. I go to get in line. So excited. I'm like, yeah, I like, this was a great idea.
Yeah, great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, so I get up there, the lady scans the ticket and she's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, this ticket has already been scanned today. Like, you're gonna have to go to the customer service desk. Yeah, it's already been used. I was just, like, oh my God. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I couldn't understand what happened. So I go to the customer service desk. The girl scans it. She's like, yeah, this ticket's already been used. Like, where did you get it? And I think I even told her the truth. I was like, oh, like I got it from this girl. She sold it to me. Blah blah blah. Like being an idiot. And she's like, yeah, well, it's already been used, so there's nothing we can do about it. If you want, you can purchase a ticket here for I think $190. I was broke at the time. I didn't have $190, so. And I had driven, I think it was 2 hours to get to the festival. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I just got out of line. It started raining, which is even better. It never rains in California, but it decided to just completely, the sky opened up that day.
Brighten up the day with rain.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so not only did I drive 2 hours by myself to this venue that I've never been to before, I'm all alone. I've gotten scammed. Thankfully, I didn't give the girl the money, but, I couldn't get in. And now it's raining. So I'm standing under a tree trying to figure out what to do. I also had to take a shuttle bus to get to the grounds. So I'm like, okay, I have to take another shuttle bus to get back to my car. So I'm just standing there weighing my options. Like, okay, do I call my mom and see if she can wire me the money so I can go and I pay her back? And I pay her back later. I did not want to go home after driving all that way, and and I really wanted to see these people.
And did she know that you were going, that you went?
My mom?
Yeah.
No, she had no idea that I was in Orange County. She had no idea. So I was like I said, I was really weighing all of my options here on what was how I could get in. But like I said, it's pouring rain. I'm standing under a tree thinking about it. There's this man that was kind of standing. He was not quite across the street, but he was about a couple of yards away from me, and he was on his phone and he was looking at me, and I'm just standing there under the tree, like by myself, like a weirdo. And he's like, hey, were you having issues? 'Cause I guess he had seen me come out of the ticket booth, and I go, yeah, I bought a ticket and it was fake. The person who sold it to me, like they already used the ticket, and I'm just wondering like what I'm supposed to do now. And he goes, well, are you alone? Like, are you by yourself? And I was like, yeah, I'm it's just me. Like, I don't have any, it's just me by myself. And he goes, okay, give me a second. He was like, go get back in the line. And I had no idea who this person was. I'm like, okay, is this man gonna buy me a ticket? Like, does he feel bad for me because I'm standing under this tree getting rained on by myself, and he's gonna buy me a ticket? But it turns out that he was one of the managers of the ticket booth. So I get back in line. He goes over into the booth, grabs me a ticket, reaches over all these people's heads and hands it to me. And I'm just like, thank you, and take off running for the line. I'm like, not gonna ask any questions, not gonna, like, this is a gift from.
It was real, right?
Yeah, it was real. Like I said, he was one of the organizers, or like he worked in the festival, got me a ticket, gave it to me, and I went in and I got in. So that whole situation kind of turned around. It flipped on it. And that wasn't even like the best part of the night. Later on.
Really?
Yeah. So later on, after I got into the venue, I went to go I went to go get in line to get inside one of the separate venues they had where Sebastian was going to be. I think it was Sebastian, Busy P, R.L. Grimes was playing, I think it was the Doors, maybe not the Growlers. It was a couple of bands playing in that venue, and I got in, and I wanted to be kind of in the front so I could see everything really well. I have very bad eyesight, so I wanted to get as close as possible. And when, like, where I was standing, there was a girl in front of me, and she had a backpack, and she was rummaging through the backpack, and it was dark, and she looked up at me, and she goes, "Hey, can you hold my backpack for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I'm holding it for her, and she's rummaging in it, and I think I had I think I just kind of absentmindedly said, like, "Oh man, I really got to go to the bathroom. Like, I hope there's a bathroom around here." And she goes, "Yeah, there's a bathroom backstage that you can go to." And I was like, I don't think they're gonna let me back there. And she starts digging around in her bag again, and she pulls out a media wristband, and she puts it on my wrist, and she's like.
Like that's the pass for the backstage?
Yeah, well, it was a media pass. So anywhere the media could go, she was saying I would be able to get back to go back there. So I was like, okay. I was like, thanks. She's like, yeah, just tell them, like, she was like, just, tell them you're with American Outfitters or American Apparel, something like that, like writing for some blog. I think she said she had an extra one because her friend, the wristband that she had was for her friend, and then her friend left early, so she had that extra wristband, and she was like, you can use it to get to go to the back so you can go to the bathroom. And I was like, oh my god, thank you so much, like, it was so helpful. But I had that wristband for the whole rest of the night, so I went backstage. I got on the stage when Justice was playing. I met them, got a picture with them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was probably one of the craziest situations I've ever had in my life, where it's just like a really bad situation turned into like a bunch of really
Justice.
Yeah, right? It was wild. It was wild. So kind of just goes to show you, at least when you're by yourself. I feel like if I was with other people, that day wouldn't transpire that way. That man wouldn't have seen me standing under a tree by myself and take pity on me and be like, "I'll let you in. Like, you got scammed. I feel bad for you. Like, it's raining. I'll just let you in."
Well, yeah, kind of the savior, I guess, savior of the story.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I didn't get the guy's name, and I wouldn't, shout him out or anything like that, because honestly, probably not supposed to do that. but yeah, no, he definitely turned that day around for me by giving me that extra ticket. And he didn't ask like for money or anything. It wasn't like, yeah, I'll sell it to you for half price. He was just like, here you go. Like, just go get back in the line, and then I'll get one for you. And I was like, thank you so much.
I forgot to ask him. Probably should have asked him in the beginning, but how did you come up with both SynthPrisma and then Heddie?
So, with the name SynthPrisma, that name I had thought of in, I think that was 2012 or 2013. I just wanted a name that kind of represented the type of music that I liked, and then the general aesthetic that I wanted for myself as an artist. So I loved synthwave music. I loved synths in general. And then Prisma was derived from the word prism, which I love. I used to have this little glass. It was like a glass orb that you could sit in the window and it would shoot light through it, and it would bounce the lights off the wall or off surfaces, and it was like a really, really pretty prism basically. And it was one of my favorite little trinkets that I had. I have no idea where I got it from. I think I got it at like a thrift store several years ago. But I was just like, oh, okay, SynthPrisma, like. But over time, I felt like it was too much of a mouthful, and I just wanted something that was a little bit more simple. And my nickname has been Heddie for years. And people in the online community that, like, when I initially started singing, like I said, I had been singing for She Music, and his fan base always just called me Heddie. That was my nickname online, essentially. And I think when I decided that I wanted to start fresh, start a new like a new identity, really, or really build an identity for myself, I wanted it to be just simple, but I wanted it to be me. I didn't want it to be an identity of me, like SynthPrisma was. I felt like SynthPrisma was too much of something that I would have to build a brand around, whereas Heddie is just me.
And it kind of sounds simpler, too simpler, yeah, it's less syllables, but
yeah, it's just very simple.
Yeah. Well, I have this question. I have this technical question, but then I have this kind of like, is there any instruments you play other than singing and like any other instruments you play?
Yeah, so honestly, just the piano and singing, and I feel like my voice is the one instrument that I'm able to use most confidently without feeling like I'm struggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I feel like when I was younger, my mom did try to get me into like doing piano lessons, that kind of thing, and playing the recorder, and I was so uninterested in it. I was just like, I was always singing. According to my family members, I was singing all the time, and they were always like, "Will you tell her to shut up?" Like, so I've always been singing, but the piano I learned, and I'm still learning later on in, it was definitely later on in life that I started dabbling in that. But
Yeah. I guess bothering your family with your singing kind of does pay off with being professional at it, I guess.
yeah, exactly. I mean, my parents have always been very supportive, and all the songs that I've come out with and the collaborations that I've done with other people. My mom, she's a professional Zumba instructor, so she's used some of the songs that I've done, like in her Zumba classes, and
Wow.
yeah, and she's always like listening to them, and so that's always been a little like pride for me. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kind of good when the family kind of supports your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always nice when your family has your back on your passions and supports you. And
that's actually truth, because I mean, I was actually there was this contest I played, the DJ contest, I guess, kind of popularity contest test, to be exact, and I wasn't really a fan of them, but for this one I really wanted to play, because it was and it was a drive-in show too, back when, I guess in June, I guess. But I mean, I really got like a lot of votes, like 180 votes.
oh wow.
Fourth place, while the first place was like or I guess the majority of the top of the winners got around 200. But I was up there, and I guess the top five, top five DJ,
Yeah.
the top five was really, they were allowed to play, and I was of course, but the moment I think like 90% or 80% of them, that my voters who voted for me was my family, and kind of my family in Mexico, who's like really there. A lot of I have like 13, I think 13 aunts and uncles over there with cousins, so
Wow.
that's kind of
Yeah.
50 cousins. Or that's and yeah, I do kind of stand by kind of family really most of the time do support you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important, and it definitely helps a lot when they have your back. But sometimes family doesn't. you know, it's unfortunate, but sometimes family members aren't super supportive. But if you have a really tight knit like friends group, it's always good to have just people behind you that support you. I mean, for me, my parents have always been super supportive, but it's definitely been the people that I've kind of surrounded myself with that have been very helpful and encouraging to me on just like a day-to-day basis, that have been like, don't stop what you're doing, keep going, keep working hard. um One of my good friends, Alex, who he goes by Savant.
Like, are you like friends with it? Like, do you talk with him? Or
Yeah, so when I lived in California, we hung out a lot actually. I used to drive down to LA and hang out with him. I would say usually like once a month or so for a couple of months there, cuz LA is driving to LA is an ordeal. It's not really just like a up up the road kind of thing, especially from where I was living. It was a good 2 hours, 2 or 3 hour drive depending on traffic. So it would definitely be like a whole day type of a trip. Um, but he was one of the first people that I became friends with when I moved to California, because I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have a job at the time. And he was just like, yeah, if you want to come out, hang out. The first time I went out there, he helped me with music production, like showed me Fruity Loops, and was, he's really a genius when it comes to music, to production and song progression, and um the formulas of music. And he's very meticulous about those types of things, and he knows what makes a good vocal melody, and he knows what makes a good chord progression. And so kind of the first day that I went down there, I was really able to just kind of pick his brain on different things, and so that was really cool. That was initially how our friendship started. I would just drive down there and he'd help me with music, but then it just turned into like me driving down there and us going to like Little Tokyo, and just hanging out, smoking, and, and just chilling. He's a cool dude.
but yeah, it really does. I guess that's kind of relates to the topic of you kind of social networking to. Well, I guess not only to promote your music online, but also meet people and get to know, and also learn from them too. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it really does.
yeah, absolutely. Initially, like that wasn't my my mindset. I guess at the time it was just kind of like, I don't have any friends out here, and
Yeah.
so it's like cool to have somebody to hang out with. And music has always been such a huge part of my life for so long, it's just always been easier for me to kind of get along with people that also make music. But I don't know. It's definitely good to get to know people and learn learn from people that have been doing this a lot longer, and kind of, like I said, pick their brains on it and build those relationships, because it does help. And any questions that I have, like, I know I can ask him, I know I can ask other people, and they're always super helpful. And I'm always, like, any way I'm able to return the favor. Like, if he hit me up and he was like, "Hey, I need vocals," like, I would, like, period.
Learn from your mentors.
I love vocoders. That is like for vocals, like, my bread and butter. I love it when a song has when it has vocoder in it. I'm like, yes.
Gotta have that vocoder with my cereal every day. Every damn day. I think we've reached the end of the episode. I mean, unless you want to kind of chime in with any last advice, or maybe even any last thoughts.
So I guess I could just kind of end this on saying, for anybody out there that's producing music or thinking of producing music and wanting to add vocals or work with a vocalist, don't be shy, don't be afraid to ask, to to just contact people and ask them, what they would be willing to do. But definitely, I would say, if you want to work with somebody, I would definitely say to compensate them. I feel like for vocalists, compensation and credit. You want to credit them, you want to compensate them either by a percentage of royalties, or if they're more comfortable with just like a flat fee or like just a buyout, um, you know, go over that. But you definitely want to compensate them in some way. It's very unfortunate, but that's one little aspect of being a vocalist that kind of sucks sometimes, is it's not really taken as like serious as the production element of the song. So a lot of times people will want to work with you, but they won't want to compensate, or they won't want to give credit to the vocalist. But yeah, so definitely make sure you're giving credit, make sure you're compensating them for their time and for their work, especially if they're also writing the lyrics for the song. Because like I said earlier, think of the vocals like an instrument. It's a part of the song, and it's just as important as the drums or the bass or the melody. So vocals can make or break a song. So it's important to treat the vocalist, treat them with respect, give them credit where credit is due. If they helped with songwriting, put that in the credits and compensate them. That would be the advice I would give.
Treat your vocalist with someone like a human. But yeah, I mean, that's really some good advice. I mean, and your vocal works over the years kind of really do, Blue Thunder's favor. Really, I mean, a lot of songs I've checked out too that I can't remember, like a lot of names from, but they were good. But,
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, that's about it. I mean, but thank you guys for tuning in to Kult Podcast 08 with Heddie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good episode, good times, and we will see you on the next episode. Don't know who, but we really don't know. But until next time, guys, peace.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me.
Hello. Thank you for watching another video on the Savant 2.0 channel.
If you want to see more content, click here or here.
Don't forget to subscribe for the memes. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Goodbye.